Blood, guns, action, cute girl. Exactly what every man wants to watch. But be aware, my friends, the girls here might be cute, but a real badass. The story today will be about this little girl who totally kicks ass everywhere she goes. So don't get fooled by her innocent look, cause believe me, she's a real bitch. The Empire, as its name says, is the strongest nation there is. Weapons, yes. Military force, yes. Clever strategic minds, yes. Witches, hell yeah. As the favorite son in the world, the other siblings started to get jealous, so they decided to take everything the Empire has. The other nations surrounded the Empire from all sides, but the Empire had a clever idea. It's called 315 Little Brother Big Brother Plan. As you heard, they spread their forces all around to delay the enemy until the Big Brother shows up, those being the main troops, and to take out the enemy forces each at a time. But there was a battlefield called Rhina. It was like hell. The Empire troops were losing and getting their ass kicked. But they had a little cute girl with blonde hair and blue eyes, as the Japanese say, kawaii. But I can tell you one thing about little girls. They are far from kawaii. Look at the successful horror movies, all of them with little girls trying to eat your soul. And Lieutenant Tanya Degurachov was no different. She was the devil incarnate. The whole package. Narcissistic, sadistic, self-loving. If they run a contest between her and the devil, I can't tell you who would win. Lieutenant Tanya Degurachov was so controlling that she punished everyone who don't obey orders, even if they did good. She had two men witches, yes, you heard me, men witches, who tried to destroy the enemy's cannons despite Lieutenant Tanya Degurachov orders not to, and they succeeded in their mission, though they did good until they were discharged and sent to a fortress in the back lines. You might think, that's not a bad outcome. Psych! Once you know they were killed in the fortress for being an immortal object, which is a perfect target for cannonballs, you will know how much frightening this little girl is. Hey, psst, you wanna hear something crazy? Lieutenant Tanya Degurachov is originally a man! What? Right? He was a salesman in a company of what it seems to be of the 21st century. His job was simple. Fire people. Any whom the company wants to discharge, he is the man for the job. And he does it perfectly and emotionlessly, as if a robot. All he cares about is getting his paycheck and moving up the ladder. But you know what they say, the bad things that you do come to bite you in the ass. He was waiting in a train station when he was pushed by the last man he fired, falling into the track. Suddenly, the time stopped. People around started talking to him, pretending like it was God, and preached him about faith. But he was a non-believer, so it was like blah, 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 and called the so-called God creature X, which made the latter mad, and decided to punish him and reincarnate him one last time. Shall he die? Adios, amigo! It's the end of no incarnation for you. He was reincarnated as a little orphan girl, no food, no shelter, and with war coming. So the creature X thought it'll be the best place for his non-believer to regain his faith. You may think that he will submit and have his faith again. Psych! She decided to join the army and move up the ladder in order for him to be safe with her magical power. She was promoted quickly, within 1 year, and was only 9 years old when she was responsible for training the new soldiers. You can see the irony here. Imagine you're a big man, join the army just to be bossed around by this little girl, but soon to be known by all the new soldiers. This girl is much scarier than the war they're about to go through. On her first assignment, she was set to be on the front line as an observer. So she thought that she's lucky for this easy first task. But once you disobey a creature that calls itself God, you know you have it coming. A hostile troop of witches spotted Tanya Degurachov and started attacking. She asked to retreat, but the headquarters said, hell nope, you stay there and stall as long as you can, which seemed to be an impossible mission. But hey, what did I tell you about this little girl? They're the ones to be feared, if not war. Tanya Degorachov attacked the enemy, killing them one by one. She even self-destructed to complete the mission. As an accomplishment for her efforts, she was awarded with the silver medal called the Attack of the Silver Wings. Badass, right? Afterwards, she was sent to the back lines as she hoped, but there was a crazy scientist who used her for the development of power jewelry. They say there's a fine line between genius and crazy. This man was standing in the middle of it. The jewelry development continued to fail and explode. The front lines didn't seem like such a bad idea. Tanya used her age and wrote a letter about the experiments, and it was shut down afterwards. Tanya Degorachov felt happy when, boom! The creature X showed up feeling deceived and told her, "You will have faith. I will have you praise my name." So he made the only way for the magic jewelry to work efficiently is after she praises his name and prays for him. So, back to Raina. Lieutenant Tanya Degorachov was promoted and ordered to head back to the academy at once to continue her training, which is what she wanted all along. Now she can have the comfortable life she desires. But hey, once an enemy for a creature X, always an enemy. So Lieutenant Tanya Degorachov, get ready. 6 months in the capital was enough to make Lieutenant Tanya Degorachov feel safe and comfortable. She meets with General Zaitor, which was like the strategic brain of the army. He deluded her into saying that she thinks that forming a troop of witches for the fast intervention was a great idea. And she did. Because she didn't want him to think that she is weak, and didn't think that they will go with this idea. Comes Creature X, turn and ding ding! The Fast Intervention Witches Troop was approved, and Lieutenant Tanya Degorachov was ordered to gather a number of 48 persons for this troop, and she will be their leader. After graduation, she'll be promoted into Major, which is a great deal, except for the big chance to die anytime in the battlefield. Damn you, Creature X, is all what Tanya Degorachov was thinking of. She began recruiting, but they were all a bunch of low crap, useless witches, so she kept sending them home, and said she needs only 1 month to create a perfectly suited soldiers, which was crazy, but all she wanted is to get these soldiers to hell and sending them home. But unfortunately for her, this camp was a success, and she created a great witches, and now the troop is ready to go to the battlefield and waste no minute, because Tanya Degorachov was sent for the southeast battlefield immediately. There was a country in the southeast called Dacia. They had numbers all right, but even ants are numerous but weak against one human. When Major Tanya Degorachov's troop began attacking, it was like taking candy from a little kid. No, it was much easier than that. It was like Real Madrid winning the Champions League. That easy. They even headed towards the capital and destroyed their weapons factory. But according to the international law for the state of war, you have to warn the people you're attacking. But then they'll lose the element of surprise. But do you think that people will care about a child telling them that they're under attack? Which is what happened to Major Tanya Degorachov. Used her soft voice to the attack. I told you, man. Little girls. Finished from the south, Major Tanya Degorachov's troop was sent to the north to wrap things up there too. But this was an omen for a world war, as she predicted. So she had a feeling that the Creature X's hidden hand is behind this madness, playing with the strings like a doll maker, and Major Tanya Degorachov is the crazy doll. The Empire had the man and the mind power. As the strategies were accurate, they applied the pincer on the enemy. Now they can attack from the front and back, second and third base, as you call it. There, she fought this crazy old man, Colonel Ansoy Soy, who she defeated easily and took his weapon as a prize. After the North, Major Tanya Degorachov was sent back to where she got her devil title, Raina Battlefield. But unlike the previous time, now she had a well-trained and skilled troop, which meant a better chance of doing the assigned tasks easily. From the south and north, then back to the west, Major Tanya Degorachov's troop was kicking ass everywhere. Even in the rebellion that happened in a city in the west, which the Republic enemy immediately took advantage of and took over the city. So Major Tanya de Gorbachev were assigned to eliminate all hostile troops, as well as the rebellions, which was a difficult task because the city was still crowded with citizens, and it was difficult to distinguish the enemy. It didn't make a problem for Major Tanya de Gorbachev, because let's face it, she's a bitch. But it was a problem for her soldiers, as they have a living conscience. But the soldier is to obey and obey. Once the enemy troops heard that the famous Rhina Devil is coming, they prepared for the worst, which is getting their ass kicked and wiped out of existence. But hey, good luck for them. It was a complete extermination, as after announcing that those who remain in the city afterwards will be considered with the enemies, the attack began, leaving no man, woman, or child alive, cause if they do, years will pass, and they will seek revenge. It's like a fucking cycle. No, it's a pyramid. The Pyramid of Revenge. I should take copyrights for this title. Anyway, the Empire wanted to make a big attack, but they had to retreat from Rhina at first, so Major Tanya de Gorbachev, it's your job again. Stall them, so they think we're fighting, while we retreat and attack from the other side. And if your men die, so be it. Major Tanya de Gorbachev accomplished the mission, and soon after received a new one. I mean, talk about a donkey beat, but this is hard labor. The new mission is to assassinate the commander of the enemy, which was the biggest and hardest mission she's ever been assigned to. She needs a new strategic plan. Hence comes the crazy scientists. He created small planes that are able to penetrate through the enemy's lines fast, and hopefully this time, it won't explode. As the fate of the war depends on this mission, shock and terror, they called it, which was simple. Kill the enemy's commander, leave them shocked, and then unleash the horror of the Empire. Even I was nervous when watching, and if I were there, I would have pissed my pants already. No surprises there. The first part of the mission was a success. The second part was to open the lock for the main Empire troops to get to the main battlefield. And it was like open sesame. Planted explosives are the best way to do it. Next is the round door mission. Hey, who comes up with these names? I never trust anyone with a hairstyle like this man Zetor. It doesn't make sense. Just trust me. But man, if I wanted to do anything, I would call these strategic men of the Empire. They can think it all. Major Tanya de Gorbachev was flying over the sea with her troops when all of a sudden they were attacked by none other but that crazy man Ansoy. The man was a cockroach. He refused to die even after Major Tanya de Gorbachev penetrated his abdomen with a big knife. He killed and killed Major Tanya de Gorachev's men one by one with a new weapon, which is, by the way, opposed to the treaty of the war. Okay, let's just stop here for a second. This is war. People fucking kill each other. So what's the point of forbidding a weapon and not the other? I mean, let's talk about a blood killer here. Anyway, the battle continued and no surprises there. Major Tanya de Gorbachev successfully stabbed Ansoy with a knife for the second time. But it was what he wanted, so he was able to grab her and self-destruct. Is everybody on this anime crazy? But there was something weird. How can he live and become this strong and be able to keep up? Oh, ding, ding, ding. The Creature X is the answer, as it will never let Major Tanya de Gorbachev be until he gets what he wants. But, as Batman and Robin, Major Tanya de Gorbachev has Lieutenant Victoria Sobryakov, who rescued her and stopped the crazy man from exploding. Major Tanya de Gorbachev, with no hesitation, began shooting Ansoy with his own weapon that she took the last time, making his body like a sponge. Yet, still, he self-destructed himself, which was useless given that it didn't harm Major Tanya de Gorbachev much. The mission was completed and the war against the Republic Army was won. But not for Major Tanya de Gorbachev, as truce wasn't what she was looking for, as the truce can be broken at any time, but the dead men can do nothing that threatens her safety and peace, despite her efforts to continue until the entire enemy was eliminated. The headquarters drowned in the delight of the victory and refused any action that can threaten their truce. And what Major Tanya Degurachev feared happened. The dog came back to bite the hand that fed him, this time from the south, calling themselves the Free Republic. It was the irony of that Creature X and teasing Major Tanya Degurachev until she finally submits. The season ends with the daughter of that man in Soy Soy voluntarily joining the army. I think someone wants revenge for Baba, and Major Tanya Degurachev concludes with a speech about the Creature X, which in my opinion, if it was written in English, it would be filled with the F word.